Before we begin, I need you to feel this, because if you miss it, you might lose someone who was already choosing you in silence. Imagine her sitting across from you, laughing, talking, and then suddenly she pauses, her voice softens, and she shares something she doesn't tell anyone, not even her closest friends. And you? You nod, you miss it, and just like that, the moment passes. If you want to understand women on a level most men never reach, make sure you subscribe and like this video, because what I'm about to reveal will change the way you see every conversation you've ever had with her. Listen carefully. When a woman shares something deeply personal with you, something vulnerable, something a little messy, something she could easily hide, that is not casual conversation. That is emotional exposure. And women do not expose themselves emotionally to men they don't trust, or worse, to men they don't feel anything for. You've been trained to look for obvious signs. Flirting, texting first, physical touch. But love rarely starts there. It begins in a much quieter place, in the moments where she lets her guard down and risks being seen, truly seen. When she tells you about her fears, her past, the things that hurt her, she's not just talking, she's testing the emotional safety of your presence. She's asking, without saying it out loud, "Can you handle the real me?" And most men fail right there. Not because they don't care, but because they don't recognize the weight of what's being offered. They treat it like just another story, another conversation, another passing moment. But to her, it's everything. Because vulnerability is currency in a woman's emotional world, and she doesn't spend it recklessly. If she shares this with you, something real, something unfiltered, something that exposes her inner world, she's already leaning toward you in a way that goes far beyond attraction. She's opening a door that most men never even see. And if you don't recognize it, if you don't respond to it with presence, depth, and emotional intelligence, she will quietly close that door, and you'll never even know it was there. Let me take you deeper into something most men completely overlook, because on the surface it feels so ordinary, almost forgettable. She starts telling you about a moment where she felt hurt, maybe even embarrassed. Not in a dramatic way, not to impress you, but in a quiet, almost hesitant tone. She might laugh it off halfway through like it doesn't matter. But it does. It matters more than you think. When a woman shares a memory where she wasn't strong, where she wasn't perfect, she is allowing you to see the version of her she usually protects. That's not something she does for attention. That's something she does when she feels emotionally drawn to you. And here's where men make the mistake that costs them everything. They try to fix it. They give advice. They interrupt with logic. Or worse, they minimize it with phrases like, "It's not a big deal," or "You're overthinking it." In that moment, you're not just responding to her story, you're responding to her trust. And if she feels dismissed, even slightly, something inside her pulls back. Not dramatically, not in a way you can clearly see, but enough that the next time she feels something deep, she won't bring it to you. Because what she was really looking for wasn't a solution. It was connection. She wanted to feel understood without having to explain every layer. She wanted to feel safe enough to be imperfect in front of you. And when you meet that moment with presence, when you listen without trying to control it, when you acknowledge her emotions without correcting them, you do something incredibly rare. You become emotionally safe. And emotional safety is the foundation of love for a woman. Not looks, not status, not even confidence on its own. It's the feeling that she can be fully herself without being judged, dismissed, or misunderstood. So when she shares those small, imperfect pieces of herself, she's not just talking, she's inviting you into her inner world. And if you're paying attention, you'll realize she's not just opening up, she's slowly choosing you. Now here's where it becomes even more subtle and far more powerful. There will be a moment when she shares something that doesn't just reveal her past, but exposes her fears about the future. And when that happens, you need to understand. You're no longer just someone she's talking to. You've become someone she's emotionally investing in. She might say something like, "I'm scared of getting hurt again," or "I don't trust easily." Or even disguise it behind humor, saying, "I'm kind of a mess when it comes to relationships." Listen carefully, because what she's really saying is, If I let you in, you have the power to affect me. That is not a light statement. That is emotional risk. And women do not take emotional risks with men they see as temporary. When she reveals her fears, she is showing you the blueprint of her heart. She's telling you where she's fragile, where she's been broken, and where she needs care. Not through instructions, but through honesty. And again, most men miss this. They hear her words, but they don't feel the meaning behind them. They either rush to reassure her with empty promises, "I'd never hurt you," or they pull away, intimidated by the weight of what she just shared. But the truth is, she's not asking you to promise anything. She's watching how you respond in the moment. Do you stay present? Do you listen without fear? Do you respect the vulnerability she just placed in your hands? Or do you deflect, joke, or change the subject because it feels too real? Because in her mind, this is the test that matters, not how charming you are, not how confident you seem, but whether you can handle emotional depth without running from it. When you meet her in that space, calm, grounded, and attentive, you send a message more powerful than words. You show her that her emotions don't scare you, that her complexity doesn't push you away, that her truth is safe with you. And in that moment, something shifts. She stops seeing you as just a man she enjoys being around, and starts seeing you as someone she could trust with her heart. That's when attraction transforms into something deeper, something quieter, something real. And if you're paying attention, you'll realize she's already falling. There's another moment, and this one is so quiet, so easy to miss, that most men walk right past it without even realizing what just happened. She begins to share the small things. Not the dramatic stories, not the deep wounds, but the little, almost insignificant details of her daily life. What annoyed her today? Something funny her friend said. A random thought that crossed her mind while she was doing nothing important. And you might think, this is casual, this is nothing. But it's not. Because when a woman starts letting you into the ordinary parts of her life, it means you've moved beyond being just an option and into being part of her mental space. You're no longer someone she talks to when she's bored. You're someone she thinks about throughout her day. That's emotional presence. And emotional presence is where attachment quietly grows. You see, love isn't built only in intense moments. It's built in repetition, in consistency, in the small, unguarded exchanges where she doesn't feel the need to impress you, because she already feels comfortable with you. But here's the mistake, the one that slowly breaks this connection without you even noticing. You start giving less energy back. You respond half-heartedly. You delay replies. You treat her openness like it's always going to be there. And from your perspective, nothing seems wrong. She's still talking. She's still sharing. But inside her, something changes. Because every time she reaches out with something small and you meet it with disinterest, it sends a message. This connection matters more to you than it does to me. And slowly, she adjusts. She shares less. She pulls back. She stops bringing you into those little moments. Not because she wants to, but because she no longer feels that same emotional reciprocity. You have to understand, when she shares the small things, she's not just filling silence. She's weaving you into her life. And if you don't meet her there, if you don't match that energy with genuine attention and presence, you don't just lose conversations. You lose the emotional momentum that was quietly turning into love. Because in her world, it's never just about what's being said. It's about how it's being received. Now let me show you the moment that changes everything. The one that separates a man she enjoys from a man she can't emotionally walk away from. She begins to share her dreams. Not in a loud, ambitious, look at me kind of way, but in a soft, almost uncertain tone. She tells you what she wants out of life, the kind of relationship she hopes for, the future she imagines when she lets herself feel safe enough to dream. And right here, this is where her heart is the most exposed. Because dreams are fragile. They carry hope, but they also carry fear. Fear of not being enough, fear of choosing the wrong person, fear of giving her time, her energy, her love to someone who doesn't truly see her. So when she shares those dreams with you, she's not just talking about the future. She's quietly placing you inside it. And most men, They don't even notice. They nod, they smile, they say something generic like, "Yeah, that sounds nice," or "You'll get there." But what she's really watching is this. Do you take her seriously? Do you respect what matters to her? Do you engage with her vision? Or do you stay on the surface? Because if you stay on the surface, she feels it immediately. She feels that distance, that lack of depth, that quiet signal that maybe, just maybe, you're not the man who truly understands her. But when you lean in, when you ask questions, when you show genuine curiosity, when you treat her dreams like they matter, you create something powerful. You become aligned with her emotionally, and alignment is what turns attraction into attachment. Because now, she doesn't just feel good around you, she feels understood. And when a woman feels understood on that level, she starts to connect you with something deeper than chemistry. She connects you with her sense of possibility, her vision of happiness, her idea of what love could actually feel like. That's when it stops being casual. That's when she starts imagining you not just as part of her present, but as part of her future. And once a woman places you there, once she sees you inside her dreams, walking away from you is no longer simple. Now, everything we've talked about leads to this final truth, the one most men never fully understand until it's already too late. When a woman shares deeply with you, her fears, her past, her daily life, her dreams, she is not doing random emotional storytelling. She is building a pattern of connection, a gradual, intentional, emotional investment that grows each time you meet her with presence instead of distraction. And at a certain point, something subtle happens inside her. She starts to associate you with emotional safety, with comfort, with being understood without having to fight for it. And once that association forms, her behavior begins to change in ways that are easy to overlook if you're not aware. She may start checking in on you more, reaching out without a clear reason, finding small excuses to stay connected, not because she's trying to impress you, but because your presence has become meaningful to her internal world. At this stage, she is no longer just reacting to attraction, she is choosing connection. And here is where many men unintentionally disrupt everything. They become inconsistent, they overthink, they pull away to play it cool. Or they assume that because she's still around, they don't need to continue showing emotional awareness. But connection is not a one-time achievement. It's something that must be maintained with consistency, respect, and attention. Because for her, every interaction either reinforces or weakens the emotional bond. When you stay grounded, when you remain attentive, when you continue to meet her with genuine interest and emotional intelligence, you reinforce the feeling that being with you is different from anything she's experienced before. Not because you're trying to impress her, but because you're actually present with her. And presence is rare. In a world full of distractions, half-listening and surface-level conversations, a man who can sit in emotional depth without discomfort stands out far more than he realizes. So if she shares these kinds of things with you, don't dismiss them, don't rush past them, don't treat them as ordinary, because to her, they are not ordinary at all. They are signals, invitations, moments where she is revealing pieces of herself that she doesn't offer lightly. And when you recognize those moments, when you respond to them with awareness instead of indifference, you stop guessing where you stand, and you start understanding the quiet truth that's been there all along. She's already emotionally invested in you.